There you go. Recording now. So go, as I was saying, just go through the video I shared with you. So if you want to know how to start in Basecamp, how do you actually log in for the first time, how do you go through your assessment, all the way into starting your icebreaker, please review that video, because that video will share those steps with you on all the screens. Because I'm already way past that, I can't actually show you those screens anymore. So I just refer you to that video. Where I'm going to be starting from is I've gone through the assessment and I've chosen my path. So the first thing I'm going to do is from Toastmasters website, I'm going to log in. I'm using a password manager in case some of you are wondering what that was. So I'm using a password manager called 1Password, and that fills in my website login. So now I'm here in Pathways. Go to my Basecamp. Just go straight to my Basecamp. Most of these are just pretty much going to the same place. I just say go to Basecamp. That for me, that's just automatic. I want to go to Basecamp, so I'm clicking that to go to Basecamp. As you can see here, I'm a member of multiple clubs. That's why it shows here all my clubs that I'm a member of. If you are only a member of one club, this will not appear. You'll just see your club printed there, and you can just log in. Also, notice that there's a second button here, Basecamp Manager. That's because if you are a president, a vice president of education, or a secretary in the selected club, then this button will become visible. If you are not any of those three positions, then you won't have this. So for example, in West Ceph, I'm just going to make that my home club. I don't have that because I'm not those three positions in this club. So that's why I only have login as a member. But I'm going to go now to my home club, which is Aspire. And you notice that if you're a member of multiple clubs, you can easily switch your clubs and determine which one is your home club. It's very critical that you understand the concept of home club, because the home club determines which club members you can interact with on Basecamp. Because I'm going to I chose Aspire as my home club. That means that when I log in as a member, I can interact, put messages on the profiles of Aspire Toastmaster club members only. I cannot interact with Belmont Toastmasters or West Ceph. So that's a key thing to remember. Furthermore, for those of you who are Basecamp managers, just take note that your member must select your club as their home club. Otherwise, they will not show up in the Basecamp manager reports. So that's something really critical. So right now I'm in Aspire Toastmasters. I will not show up in Belmont Toastmasters or West Ceph club reports, in Basecamp reports. I'll still show up in Club Central, but I won't show up in Pathways. I hope that's clear. Anytime I'm saying something that seems foreign to you, because I know we might have some people here tonight who are pretty new to Toastmasters, please feel free to chime in, unmute your mic, and raise a question. Or you can also go to the chat box and type something. Okay. So now I'm here in Basecamp, and I'm going to go through the quickest route, okay? Because once you're used to Basecamp, this is the most expedient route that you're going to be taking to get to your projects. Remember, we're just using Basecamp, this platform, as a means to access our projects and then get the information we need and then actually prepare for our speeches. That's really it. That's the main task that we're going to be doing in Basecamp, probably around 90% of the time. So what I do when I get in to Basecamp is I go straight to my education transcript, the blue box over here. And here, I'm going to my path, which is presentation mastery. And you notice also that it must say open curriculum, so you know that's your path. You just ignore all these other things here. These are modules I've been experimenting with as a pathways guide, so don't worry about them. In most cases, you'll have one path, which is represented by an icon, these books, and then the open curriculum. If you have more than one path, then both will show there. I'm already in level 3, but probably for most members in your club, they'll be starting out, they'll be in level 1. And if it's your first time, like if this is the very first time to access pathways, again, view the videos I created so you can see what it actually looks like. But these will be disabled, and the only thing that will be enabled is the icebreaker. The reason is because you must do the icebreaker first. You must do the icebreaker first before any other projects. But once you complete the icebreaker, these two become enabled, and you can do them in any order. So let's just go through quickly a project. What's going to happen is you're going to launch it. We'll give it some time to launch. And hang on, I will stop my share for a moment because I just realized that I'm sharing a window, and that opened up a pop-up so you don't see the modules. So let me just reshare. So this is the pop-up. Typically, when the pop-up comes up, you'll have to always resize it. The window size that pops up is not optimal. You need to resize it or maximize it even so that you can see the navigation bars. You notice that it opens your evaluation because I've already finished this project, and that's why it ends up here. It's just like a Blu-ray player, like a movie. When you're partway through the movie and then you stop it, and then when you go back to the movie, it resumes where you stopped. So same way here in Pathways, because I stopped at this page and I closed the window, when I reopen it, it always starts again from this page. But if it is your first time, you're typically going to start with this page. It's called the icebreaker. There we go. And then you'll be navigating by using the red buttons. If you see anything that's red, that looks like a button, that's what you typically will be pressing. And then here, once you see the chevrons here, this one goes forward, and then this one is backwards. Okay, look for the chevrons. That will move you from one page to another. And then if you encounter something like this, where it's grayed out, and then you see something down here, just go to this directions, this blue bar, and then click that. Okay, that's how simple it is. Those are the only things that you can click on in terms of navigation here. So it's first is the red button here to begin, the chevrons here, move page, go back, move forward. This one to this blue bar here to make this enabled. Oh, and one last thing, this is the assessments. And this is really key. This is where a lot of people get stumped, and honestly, I've also been stumped here before. There's a series of questions that's asked in an assessment. And to move forward, you actually click on the red button here, the next. That goes to the second question, the third, fourth. And you can click on the back to go backwards. What tends to happen is that we click on the chevron here, thinking that will go to the next question, but that actually goes to the next page. See, I went to the next page instead of the next question. So that's a little gotcha that confuses some people. So make sure that if people are complaining to you about the questions here and they're saying there's only one question, they clicked on the forward and then they didn't see any other questions, then just point out that there's a next button here. There's typically around 5 to 6 questions in the assessment that you rate yourself. This is a self-assessment. All good so far? Any questions? Now I'm going to highlight some pages. If you're a beginner, I would always recommend that you just go through each page, read through them, and experience the full multimedia capabilities of Pathways, because that's what's one of its strengths. That's one of its features. It's really presenting the projects in a full multimedia experience. Now, if this is not your thing, and I know there are some people who would rather not, do this, keep on clicking and clicking like that. If you're used to having everything on a piece of paper, just like the manuals of the competent communicators, like the legacy education program. So if you're used to that kind of manuals, then there's an option for you, and I'm going to highlight it now. You would go to your assignment. Okay. Go to your assignment. Okay. That brings me to this page here, and I just dismiss that, and then click on the project checklist. Now, apologies, I have to once again unshare that. Let me try something. All right, so you should be seeing now my desktop. So this is the project checklist. And if you have a member who's the type of person just tell me what to do and I'll just do it, with that kind of attitude, that kind of direct style, just tell them to go to the project checklist. Download it. It's a 1-page, sometimes a 2-page PDF, and that tells you exactly what you're supposed to do, literally. So this one says this is the purpose of the project. What are you going to do? It even tells you what's included: a 4 to 6 minute speech, and that's all they have to do. First, contact their VP, schedule a speech, write the speech, rehearse it, and then give it. After you've given the speech, then you go to the assess your skills after screen. So I would always recommend that you go through these checklists, because that will tell you exactly what you just need to do. And you don't need to go through all those pages in the online module here. All good so far? All right. Just want to make sure that everyone's there. Can someone chime in? Tell me if you can see the assess your skills before. All right. Oops. Got a chat. Yes, all good. Thank you, Lenore. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for chiming in. All right. Assess your skills before. There's a couple of other sections in every module that are important. So again, I'm talking to an audience that doesn't want to go through every single page here on the module. Like if you're not that kind of person. If you are, then just do it. Just go through it, clicking every single arrow here and then reading through everything. But if you're not that kind of person, then the sections which are important are your assignment. That's where you download your checklist. The assess your skills before. That's a critical one, because the way that Basecamp works is that it doesn't know when you've given your speech. It doesn't know if you've even given your speech. It just doesn't know. There's no way to enter that into the system. It knows that you've done the project. It knows that you've done the project if you've actually completed your assess your skills, your pre-speech assessment. If you've done the skills before, and then you've done a second one after, okay, there's again a rating scale after. Once you've done both, then the system assumes that you've completed the project and it will mark it as completed. Okay, really critical. If you've done the assess your skills before and assess your skills after, and you'll know because once you've done both, this pop-up window automatically comes out and tells you this is your score before and this is your after, so that you can see if you've actually improved or if you've regressed or you've stayed the same. That's the whole purpose of it. But once you've done the before and after, the system assumes that you've completed it and it will mark it as complete. And then you can proceed. Now, some of you might be thinking, if that's all I need to do, and I don't really need to give a speech, then I could potentially game the system. I could go through all the speeches, just do all of that, and keep progressing. And that's true. While you could do that and lose integrity points along the way, there is what we call a little bit of a check and balance, because there are levels. I'll show you here. Levels. Once you complete all three, the level 1 button will be enabled. And when you complete a level, a email notification is sent to your Basecamp managers, who will check on your progress and ensure that you really did deliver your speeches for your projects. So that's the check and balance. They're not allowing you to go to the next level until they've ensured that you've done your projects in all three. Okay, so that's how we're supposed to prevent someone from just going up levels and completing paths without even giving a single speech. So it's up to the Basecamp managers to ensure that you have completed your projects and before they approve your level completion. All right, so your assignment, excuse me, assess your skills before, assess your skills after, and look at this one. This is the other one that I also want to highlight. It's your evaluation. The evaluation has the evaluation sheet. So I don't know if in your club you've decided that it's the speaker's responsibility to print out the evaluation form and give to the evaluator. But this is, if that's the rule, then this is where the speaker would get it. It goes straight to your evaluation resource, that will load up this form, and then I can just print it. Also in this resources is the print my project. So this is for those who are adamant they just want to work with manuals. They don't want to work online. Maybe they don't have access to the internet. So what your members can do who have internet access is that they can go in and print out the project. And this is a PDF document which you can print out, and it has everything that's on the online modules. Obviously, there's no videos or moving images or the like, because this is a document, a PDF document. But content-wise, it's equivalent to the online version. So for those who don't want to work on the projects online, the alternative is to print out the PDF, and then they can read it at their own leisure, and then give the speech. However, even though they can read it offline, in order to progress in Basecamp, they still need to complete the pre and post assessment in Basecamp. Okay, you still need to do this one and this one online. But they can skip everything else by going to print my project. Does that make sense? Is that very clear? Yes, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so that's basically how we go through projects. Do we have a question? Yeah, that's good. All right. Thank you, Desmond. Every single project has those elements. So I'm going to just go through the second one, which is evaluation feedback. The only reason why I'm going to talk about this in detail is because I've seen a lot of people with questions about this who have misunderstood this project because it's quite unique. We're so used in the traditional program that a project is one speech. But in Pathways, a project is not necessarily just one speech. Most of the time it is, but sometimes it isn't. And in this particular project, evaluation and feedback, it is not just one speech. It is in fact two speeches. So let me show you where that is. Hi, Emmy. Welcome. No, we cannot see you, but it's okay, Emmy. You can just unmute. We'll just close that. Anyway, let's just go down here to your assignment. Once again, go to the project checklist. Okay. This is why I always recommend that if anyone doesn't know what we're supposed to do, always go to the project checklist, because this will tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. In this project, evaluation and feedback, the purpose is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. This includes a 5 to 7 minute speech, incorporating feedback from your first speech into a second 5 to 7 minute speech, plus serving a speech as a speech evaluator. 3 things you need to do in order to complete this project. And it's spelled out once again here in the checklist. Schedule your first speech, write your first speech, rehearse it, and present it. After they've done that, okay, schedule the second speech. Okay, And here, just a little tip here. Remember, the evaluator must evaluate your second speech. If the same evaluator is unavailable, share his or her feedback with a second evaluator. Okay? And then write your second speech, rehearse it, present it. After you've done your speeches, volunteer to be a speech evaluator. Okay? And then after you've done all of that, then you can finish the project, do the post, assess your skills. Okay? So that's really the importance of a project checklist, because that will tell you exactly what you need to do. Can you be a speech evaluator before giving your second speech or even giving your first speech? And this is applicable for those who are already experienced in Toastmasters, those who've been in Toastmasters for quite some time. Absolutely. Since you're a veteran Toastmasters, you can do a speech evaluation before you even give the first speech in this project. That's perfectly fine. I think they've only done it this way for those who are new. They are structuring the project assuming that this is for a first timer, someone new to Toastmasters. So typically, if you're a new Toastmaster, then you would do it first speech first, and the second speech, and then a speech evaluation. Okay. But if you're quite a veteran already, then you can do the speech evaluation at any point. I would recommend that you do a speech evaluation, even if you've done it so many in the past. But if you're starting with pathways for the first time, like you're starting on your path, then be a speech evaluator once again, just to get credit for this project. Okay. So that's the only thing I wanted to highlight. And again, this one has an assess your skills before, assess your skills after. In your evaluation as well here, these are the evaluation forms. First speech, second speech. And look at this. Evaluation form as a speech evaluator. So for those clubs, this would be filled up by the general evaluator, because the general evaluator is the one that evaluates the speech evaluators. So you would give this form to the general evaluator in your club for that meeting, and the general evaluator will also give you a verbal evaluation. Clear so far? Good? Thank you for the feedback. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Leonore. All right, so that's pretty much going through level one. Everything here is the same. It has always the pre-assessment, the post-assessment, and your assignment and your evaluation resources. Even at level 3, where I currently am, it's still the same. Whoops. This is my first time, so I'm gonna activate it right in front of all of you. Activate persuasive speaking. And then once I do that, I'm gonna launch it. Did the window show up? Okay. It's funny. Oh, there it is. It's taking its time to load. While we're waiting for that, here's something really interesting. Now that I'm in level 3, we have something called elective projects. And we can actually look into that by clicking on View Details. I would always recommend that you click on the buttons here instead of clicking on this, because I made a mistake when I was pretty new to Basecamp of clicking on the title, and I would end up going to this weird page, which totally did not make sense to me. See, so that, and going back, even when I click on back, okay, it brought me back here, but it's good. But that was a weird screen that didn't make sense to me. So again, one of the tips I'm going to give you with Basecamp is if you see a big red button, that's what you press. Okay, click on the big red button. Don't click on anything else, just click on the big red button. That brings you to the right, to where you want to be. So I'm clicking on this, and these are my elective projects. I think the elective projects will be different depending on your path, and there might be a lot of overlap. And it says here I need to do 2 in order to proceed. I'm given 12. So I just need to do 2 of these. And that's part of the richness of pathways of the program, is that now I can choose, even though, let's say, someone may also be in presentation mastery with me, we're taking the same path, but our electives are different, so our experience will be different. You can certainly do all 12 if you wish, but you'll only get credit for 2. So I'm not sure if it's worth going through all 12 right now. Perhaps in another path, some of these electives might be common. So I would rather advise that you just do 2 here. And then if there are other projects that you want to do here, then see if in your second path they're available there. If they are, then you might as well get credit for those projects in the second path. Again, it's just because you can only get credit for 2. And anything beyond that, it doesn't get credited. But if you're not worried about that and you just want to do it just because you love to do it, then that's fine. It's perfectly fine. All right, persuasive speaking, that's my level 3 project. And again, so as I told you, this is the first time I'm coming here. That's why it shows the begin. And I can always navigate. There's, again, your assignment, where I can download the project checklist. And there, that's basically what I need to do. There's assess your skills before, assess your skills after, and then your evaluation. This is where I download the evaluation resources. So again, those are so common in everything. So I hope after all of this discussion, this demonstration, you're much more comfortable and knowledgeable about navigating in the projects. Okay, let's talk about level completion. What's going to happen when you complete a level? And to do that, I'm going to have to show you a little video I created a long time ago when I was still in level 1. So I'm going to do my demonstration using this video. This is what it looks like once you've completed the 3. The level 1 completion becomes activated. And this is the same for level 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously. So that the button becomes active. And then, let's click on the video. You see me. I think I'm still doing a little spiel here. Oops. There. At this point, I'm going to click on the activate button. Apologies, I still have to edit this video. Okay, don't worry about that. So now we're going to click on the button and activate it. Okay, so you notice that from activate, once I clicked on it, it became launch. And now I'm going to click on it to launch it. So notice that when I clicked on the launch there, a new window popped up, which is basically just giving me instructions. Really, at this point, what I'm supposed to do is just click on the Mark Complete button. So it's kind of funny that you have to click on the button multiple times, but that's unfortunately just how the software works. We're supposed to activate it, launch it, and then mark it as complete. So that's the limitations of the software. And this one here, you can always access it when it's your turn to experience a level completion. It's just giving you instructions what's supposed to happen. But literally all you need to do is click on the Mark Complete and then just wait. Wait for your Basecamp manager to approve it. That's going to happen in a separate module, in the Basecamp manager module. Once they do that, then that's when the button will turn into a view certificate. So that's when it's going to turn into this one, view certificate. And by clicking on the view certificate, it opens a pop-up, and here's the little certificate. There we go. And as a member, you can print this off, frame it if you want, or just store it somewhere electronically. It's up to you, but this is essentially a certificate. And what I would recommend VPs is that you access the certificates via Basecamp Manager. I've already shown you how to do that during the Basecamp Manager training. So please do that. It will look exactly like this. You can print this out and then present it to the members during the club meeting. So it's a sign of recognition, and that will really do a lot of wonders for not just the recipient of the certificate, but for the club. It's good if people get recognized. If the club gets a sense that recognition is a practice, is part of the culture of the club, then it encourages them to really finish their projects. So I would recommend that we take advantage of these features, the certificates, to really encourage and really support our members as they go through the projects in Basecamp. All right, any questions so far? No, all good. Peggy. Peggy's good. All right, and Wendy as well. All good so far. Fantastic. Thank you. All right, so we now know how to navigate the projects. This is what you're going to be doing 95% of the time. The other features of Basecamp I'm going to talk about now are more the auxiliary functions. So I'm going to go back to the home page first. We have something. Oh, good. All right. Thanks, Dennis. If you go up here to the gear and go click on My Account, this is where you can record when you've performed specific functions. Like if you are an accounter, general evaluator, just put the latest date that you've done it. So every time I'm a speech evaluator, I just come up here and then update the speech. So the last time I did it is the 9th of August. Last time I was a Toastmaster was in July, and so forth. And the reason why this is important is because in level 3, before you can complete level 3, the requirement is that you must have served as a speech evaluator a Toastmaster and a Topics Master, the Table Topics Master, at least once. So by recording it here, the VPE can then inspect the record of the Toastmaster so that they can ensure that they've done those 3 roles before allowing them to proceed from level 3 to level 4. That's one of the requirements, one of the checks that you need to do. Here's a chat, here's a question. VPs can't do it for someone else, Ray. That's right. You cannot do this, that's right. You cannot enter the dates for them, but you can definitely check it. So when it's time for them to go from level 3 to 4, one of the requirements is that they've done speech evaluation, Toastmaster, and Topic Masters. So you have the ability to look at their profiles and see that there's a date there, which should be fairly recent. Like if they put something here that's 2016, well, you might want to ask them to do it, most recently. How do I get there? Okay. Going back from the start, this is the home page. To get there, you just go to the gearbox on the upper left and My Account, and there you are. All right, so that's one of the other features here. Since these Toastmaster, Topics Master, and Speech Evaluator are the critical ones because that's a requirement before you go from level 3 to 4. Some of you might be asking, what about Timer, Grammarian, or Awk Counter? Does that really matter? And as far as Basecamp's concerned, it doesn't. But they might want to put it there just because it's there. It's certainly not required, but it's there. If you want to put in the last time that you were a grammarian, then you might as well put it in there. All right. Let's go now into some more features of Basecamp. Let's go to the badges. Here. Now, when Basecamp was being launched and when Pathways program was being launched, one of the features that they highlighted was the ability to give badges to award people using these digital badges. And while I do see the intention, I'm not sure it's going to be widely used based on the implementations. Oh, sorry, Rocco, did you say save? Yes, sorry. I mean, there is a save, correct? Let's go back here. Yes, you select a date here, and then you click on the save button. That's correct, Rocco. Save it in order to commit your changes. That's right. Now, going back to badges. So these are, let's say, for example, the badges that I've collected. Some of these are awarded by the system, such as Presentation Mastery. That's my path. So each of you go into your badges, you'd see your path badge there. And then you'd see also, excuse me, if you've completed your levels, then you'll get those badges as well. But you also have the ability to get these other kinds of badges, which are badges you award each other. Now, I got this because I was playing around with the feature when I was still trying to learn how to use Basecamp. But you can use these kinds of badges to encourage and to recognize people's efforts. So if you have a Toastmaster in particular who's maybe shy and scared of public speaking, and then they went up and finally gave their first public speaking, you could give them a badge. You can give them an electronic badge. Let me show you how to do that. So let me choose, for example, Marie Pickens. And here I can see Marie's information. She's been good. She's been recording when she's done the roles, which is excellent. And this is what I was telling about. So VPs, please check this when you're approving level 3 to level 4. But I can award a badge. So here, I can say, great evaluation, Marie. Your speech last Saturday. And so this is me writing a little something, message to Marie, and I can also give a badge. So this is where I give the badge. I can say it was exceptional, because it was really a good one, and then post. Now what this does is that it will put a badge, the exceptional badge, on Marie's record. So if she goes to her badges, like a while ago, this screen, the My Badges, in Marie's screen, she'll actually have the exceptional badge in her list. That's essentially what happens. So if you have Toastmasters who are quite particular about that, they want to collect badges, then there you go. That's how they are given it. Through the feedback, and then there by giving a note and then giving a badge. Okay. I can also see here that Sam has given some feedback from Marie and given her another badge, which is the inspirational badge. Right? So that's essentially badges. The reason why I'm hesitant about its effectivity is because Marie's not going to get an email saying that she got a feedback or a badge in Basecamp. So it doesn't alert you. You'd have to go inside and look at your feedback board. So let's go to my feedback board. If I go to Home and go to my feedback here I'll get to see the messages that people have given me, which hasn't been much. Luciano has given me something. There you go. He's given me an innovative badge. But yes, I didn't receive any email when Luciano did it, so I didn't know. So I'd have to go into this board and see if there's anything new for me. So it's in that sense, I'm not sure if it will really be used personally, but if you can get your club members to adopt it and use it as part of your your club culture, where you give each other digital badges, then that's how you do it. That's the feature there. Who can give the badges? Anyone, Rocco? Anyone at all. So you can go in right now, look for your club member's name, just type their name here in the search bar, and then when you see their names, you'll then be brought to their feedback page. Okay? In the feedback page, that's where you can give them a little message and then give them a badge. You notice that in mine, it looks a little different because I obviously can't give myself a badge. That doesn't sound right. So if I'm looking at my own board, because I'm logged in as me, I can then put a message, say, how was my speech last Saturday, because I did give a speech last Saturday. And then I could request specific feedback from, let's say, Marie, for example, or I can choose Marie. There we go. Done. So now Marie's there. I can ask from Eric as well. Eric Davis, there you go. And then I can even add attachments if I want. And then post. So again, I've requested feedback from 2 people, but they won't see this in their email. They won't get notified. So they have to actually go into Basecamp, go to feedback, go to their board, and then they'll see a message from me. You notice that I've tried it last, December, March this year. I've also requested feedback. What did you think of my humor speech? No reply. No one really commented on it. So I'm really not so confident with this feature unless the entire club embraces it. You have to really push it to your members, tell them that this is really a great idea, and make it as part of their practice to check it regularly, because they won't be notified by email. So in that sense, it's already a bit of a tough sell, but if your club members can be committed and they come here and look for the feedback and get some good conversations going on through this board, then this feature could work for you. Thank you, Leonor. It's very kind of you. Super exceptional badge. Very kind of you. So that's the feedback. Feedback and the badges. I think I have enough time to go through one more here, which is called the ePortfolio. And the ePortfolio, think of this as your own Dropbox in Basecamp. So I can upload anything that I want in here. I can go to Documents. And these are pre-created folders, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a miscellaneous My Documents. You cannot create new folders. You cannot rename them. They are fixed. You just have to put your information in the appropriate folders. This is your private stash. No one else can see it. The Basecamp managers cannot see it. I assume that Toastmasters International cannot see it as well. So this is totally private. This is yours. You can upload your documents, your audios, your pictures, movies. However, there's a limit of 2 megabytes for each file that's uploaded. I don't believe there's a quota per se. I'm not sure. They haven't specified whether you have a total of maybe 5 gig only. I'm not sure about that. But there's a file limit for each file. So every file that you upload is maximum 2 megabytes only. So don't think of putting your 2-hour movie full feature length films in here. They won't be accepted. One interesting thing to note about this is that this ePortfolio is accessible only through Basecamp. And if you decide to move on in your Toastmaster journey, if you decide not to renew your fees and you are no longer a member in Toastmasters, your access to Basecamp will be removed. It will be suspended, and you will not be able to access your ePortfolio anymore. So just take note of that. If you are considering putting anything in the ePortfolio, just be aware that if you are no longer a Toastmaster member, you will not have access to them. If you take a break and then come back after a while, when you come back, you will have access again to the files. But while you are not a Toastmaster in good standing, you will not have access to the ePortfolio. All right, that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover. Those are the major features of Basecamp. Everything else here are basically help systems like tutorials. Oh, one last thing I want to mention the speech evaluations here. This is great for those of you who want a list of all the speech evaluations. Just go over here. And these are all the evaluation sheets for all projects in Basecamp. So look at that. Let's go to the icebreaker, for example. It's alphabetized, so there's icebreaker. So launch that one. And then here's the evaluation form for the icebreaker. So this is great if, let's say, the speaker or whoever's supposed to do it didn't do it, and you desperately need it right away. Rather than accessing it from the project, you can just go from the home page, click on speech evaluations, and then here it is. They're all here. So that's a good little trick to help you to print out the evaluation resources right away. Okay, we're coming up on the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. I'll end my demonstration at this point and open the floor for any questions. I want to know in particular, VPEs, if there are any, what are you currently struggling with in your role? Like what is it that you find quite difficult and that you need specific help on? I'm asking so that not only if I could answer the question right now, but also for future topics. Let's say if you're particularly struggling with making agendas or managing your team members or managing the mentoring program, anything like that, then please let me know so that I can certainly tackle that in future sessions. Filling agenda roles, okay? Struggling with that one? Basecamp manager, okay. I've recently just had the Basecamp manager workshop. I think most of the VPs have attended that. But I can certainly have another session where we go through Basecamp manager, but that will be probably a couple of sessions down the road, only because I've already just recently covered it, and there are other topics, VP topics that the other members have requested from me. So I'll get back to Basecamp manager, Desmond, but not in the near future. Agenda roles, okay. No worries, Rocco, if you have to go, but please do send me more questions. Tell me what in particular you're struggling with. Right now, for the next session in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be talking about, based on the survey results, I'm going to be talking about the Pathways program in more depth. That's probably going to be a shorter session, so I'll have time to probably include something else with that. So if there's anything in particular you want me to include in 2 weeks' time, please do let me know, and I'll try to incorporate that as well in the agenda. So thank you, everyone, for your compliments. All right. Motivate members to use Basecamp. That'll be a challenge, Dennis. So hopefully that what you've learned tonight, that will empower you and enable you to educate and encourage your members to use it. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for tonight. It's been great having you all. Please do email me if you have any more questions, and I will be in touch. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Good night. Thank you, everyone.